what is this mark of the beast thing, and how could it ever come about where every person, if you don't have it, you can't work, you can't hold a job, you can't, buy or sell? Well, COVID is a good example of how every country on the planet responded exactly the same way and the wrong way, simultaneously. And so it had to be organized.
Yep.
It's not just happenstance that everybody chooses this as the way we're going to deal with this crisis, and they pick the wrong answer in every case. And so there's another way that you can see things can get off the rails really quick, and massive numbers of people buy the lie, which is exactly why Jesus warned us what things were going to be like, where knowledge will increase, but deception is going to increase right alongside of it. And this level of deception is just incredible. And now with AI connected to a quantum computer, we can't even imagine how much deception can get generated that looks absolutely authentic and true.
Yeah, I think it's going to be almost indistinguishable. And I have some solutions in my mind that I think should be done, at least on video content and photo content, to verify that it is a real photo. And I think there's some ways you can encrypt it and things like that. And even when you're uploading on some of the social platforms for it to be seen, nobody's doing that yet. That has to be the natural evolution. It has to be marked as verified real, I think.
I agree.
As opposed to generate. Because I saw a side-by-side video from a movie trailer. And the movie trailer cost $500,000 in real life to shoot. And then they remade it using AI, and it cost nothing to remake it. It looked not identical, but 95% of the same.
Yeah.
You could use it in a movie trailer. That is pretty wild.
Well, if you think about it, everybody's tried to counterfeit stuff all through human history, and they're just going to counterfeit the truth, dress it up and make it look true, make it really believable, and they're getting good at it. Now, a lot of people are doing this nowadays.
Do you think that the United States should enter into an agreement with Greenland, or do you think that we should try to buy Greenland?
I don't think we need any more permanent territory to defend, but a military base there would certainly be helpful, not just for us, but for everybody in the region. So, yeah, I think we should just negotiate a place to have a military presence that can provide early warning and actually, deal with a threat if it would appear. So, yeah, I'd rather do it that way personally. I think we've got way too many military bases. Not only around the world we've got too many, but we've also got too many here in America. So I think there's a good chance we're going to whittle some of that down. I mean, you take Incirlik Air Base in Turkey, massive airfield. And of course, we pay a fortune to have a presence there. And then every time we really need to use it for something serious, like Desert Storm or, any of these post 9/11 operations, they haven't let us operate out of there and run combat sorties. So why do we keep a giant airbase in Turkey?
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, why do we even keep Turkey as a NATO ally?
Well, I think that actually births a bigger question, and that would be, what was the purpose of NATO? Does it still have a purpose today? Or is there an opportunity for this current administration to forge a path forward with some kind of new sort of military global alliance? What's your take? I mean, you served at a very high level in NATO. I mean,
yeah.
you know in depth about.
So NATO was a military alliance designed to contest the Soviet Union during the Cold War.
At 1970.
Yeah, well, it started before that, but yeah, I mean, that was really the point, was the Soviet Union, the communists are trying to become the superpower, and, we got to prevent that from happening. And all the countries in Europe were really nervous about the massive Soviet army sitting right there on their continent. So that's why the alliance was formed. Unfortunately, it very quickly morphed from a military alliance to a political alliance. And all of the leaders in NATO are politicians. They're not generals. I mean, when it comes to policy making and stuff. So, and then once the Soviet Union collapsed, what's the justification for keeping NATO? But rather than start looking at, is there a reason, should we modify this treaty and adjust it to the current realities? Instead, we kept growing NATO. After we told the Soviets we will not do this, we let all kinds of countries into NATO after the Soviets
Basically,
collapsed.
any nature. I mean, what was the most recent one? Poland?
No, I don't remember the most recent. No, Poland. Who was the most recent?
Finland?
Yeah, I think that some of those Nordic countries are getting in and wanting. But the ones that got the Russians irritated was Romania, Yugoslavia, the Czech Republic. All those ones along the border, Estonia, Latvia. We let all those in immediately. The only one we didn't let in was the Ukraine, and we didn't let them in because they're a kleptocracy and they were too corrupt, and we didn't want them in NATO. We let them participate in a couple of NATO operations in the 90s, and they performed so badly and they were so corrupt and incompetent that nobody wanted them in NATO. Now, obviously, that's a whole different scenario. Now they've got some unbelievably experienced and well-trained soldiers with good equipment, so things have changed a lot. But bottom line here is George Washington warned us about foreign entanglements, and there's no reason that we need a military alliance against the Soviet Union anymore or against Russia. So, yeah, I think if we keep a treaty like NATO, it needs to be modified to meet the current threats of today. So, who's doing anything about Iran, who's a completely rogue regime, the world's #1 sponsor of terrorism? Hezbollah, Hamas, you go down the list, the IRGC, Quds Force, all these people they're really dangerous, and nobody's contesting Iran.
Not only that, the American government shipped them hard cash.
Oh, yeah. Well, don't get me started on that. Yeah, they wouldn't. I mean, you look